Are we on? Do I see the lights? Yep, I think we're going. I have a, what do you call that thing? A mixer for my microphone right here. And I just took a standard microphone, what you normally see people use in most settings, or at least you used to back in the day. I don't know if you still do today or not, because it's pretty old. It's an old design. I can't imagine that this is still the standard. Maybe it is. Maybe it's one of those things that just can't change very much. There are a few things like that. Well, start of a new week. Had quite a few things happen. But it's hard trying to figure out how to do all of this stuff whenever nobody's ever done it before. There's no examples, no template to look at, and it's just like, I think things are good enough that I can just finally really kind of dedicate to it. Got a new 3D printer because the old one just had it. And from what I had seen with the videos, it's like, this stuff shouldn't be happening at all. And I'm pretty sure the guy that I bought it from lied to me, because I asked, why are you selling it? And he said, because I have too many. It's like, that makes no sense. If he had said something like, well, I just bought a new one, I needed to make room for it, that would have made a little bit more sense. And I asked him what he had done to it. He said nothing. And it was like, whenever I got it, he did several things to it. And I don't know for sure, but I think he did something with programming, because it looked like he had a BL touch to it. And it's just, so same model as before, and this thing is like night and day. I have done nothing to it. I did a few upgrades to the previous one, but did nothing to this one, and this one, just right out of the box, it is not making all the weird noises the other one was. It's not vibrating the table that I have it on. It's just, and so I did a print, and it was turning out really good, except it did pop off, because a lot of them do suggest using a little bit of glue, just a little glue stick, to help it to stick there, because it's a glass bed that you have, and you want that because it's really smooth. And so that first one did pop off. It did make it for a good while, and it was like, this is doing so much better. Everything about it was doing better. And now I've got a real print going on, and it's been going on for several hours now. It's a 16-hour print, and it's about 20% into it. And it still has a few issues, but I mean, compared to what it was before, night and day. Night and day. And I start doing some upgrades to it and tweaking it a little bit. So, for example, one is having a dual Z rod for it. This one only has one, but when you have two, that's going to help. And it's just like, there's no reason why it just isn't going to get better from here on out. But for the most part, it's like, I think I've got this. And so it's time to move into the wood shop and doing stuff. And I love YouTube and the internet and being able to look up all of this stuff. And so here's a guy. He's talking about this video, and I'll leave links in the description for all this stuff. Cutting board hobby turned into business overnight, part 2. And this is from Chris Devo. I don't know how you say his last name. And he's making 60 to 70 cutting boards in this go right here. You can see him. He's got them all over the place in the wood and stuff. And it's taken him like a month. And he's got a website, and they sell for roughly, some a little more, some a little less, but it's going to be roughly $150 a board. He's used extremely nice wood, extremely nice finishes, and he's really sanded the hell out of them. So he's looking around $10,000 for this batch, give or take. And he said, you know what boosted him off? YouTube. He was doing this stuff, he made some videos, and then one of them just boiled over, it just exploded. and then he sold out of everything. It's because he did really good quality. I have a friend who has a truck pickup that he spent, I think he spent around $100,000 now fixing that thing up. He's got Instagram going on, all this stuff. He's got like, I don't know, I don't remember, 300,000 or 800,000 followers or something like that. It's got to be 300,000. It can't be a million, because the people who are interested in him are the people who are into trucks and into Hondas, because his is a Honda something. He's just decked it out like mad. And that's what you see all the time with these. Is that these are people, the best ones are the people who are like, I'm going to do this, and it's just balls to the walls. But there's another problem, though, and that is, how do you know who's worth a damn and who's not? So one of the things that I definitely need to do is I need to get my workout routine going on. And whenever we search best workout routines to get toned, what's the number? Usually somewhere on these things it'll tell you how many search results you get. I don't know if it does it with YouTube, I guess, but I'm sure there's just tons of them. And we can scroll down and just look at all these things. Which one? Which one's right? Which one's wrong? Which one's a gimmick? Which one's done with actual data and science? And which one is just anecdotal experiences? Which one's right for me? We'll go through a few of them right here. So this Fit Father Project, Fitness for Busy Fathers, that sounds pretty good for me, because it's like I'm not looking to be an athlete and compete in sports, and I'm older, and by the time you're a father, whenever you watch like the Olympics, it's like those are kids. They're in their 20s. Maybe there's some in their 30s, but there's nobody in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and so forth. And then you have these guys, the buff dudes. I've seen a little bit of their stuff, but that's not for me either. That's not the build that I want. And they've been doing this for years. And so I don't care what their best beginner workout routine is. That's not what they do. It's just no. Where's another one? This Athleta X, it's the same thing. I've seen this guy some. And it's like, this is a guy who's been working out for years. He seems to really know what he's talking about, though. But you can't tell me what to do as a beginner. I mean, maybe he could. I guess maybe if he is coaching. Yeah. But there was another one here. Or this one. Brownie. We made PewDiePie a new workout routine, and it's got him with a picture with PewDiePie, and it's fake. He did copy pasting stuff or whatever, I don't know, some kind of editing. They're not together. I watched the video, and they do say, yeah, we made it for him, but nothing about him. He's not in the video or anything like that. It's like, how many more of these videos are like that, where it's just nothing? It's just a nonsense thing. There's one more. I do like this guy, Jeremy Ether, something like that. And he's always bringing in science research papers. And he quotes them all the time. He names them, what the title, what it's about, who did it, the year, all that stuff. And it's just like, that's great. And he has a physique that I'm not interested in getting buff at all. I want to be slim and toned, but he does it too. He's got pictures. In fact, I bet we can just click on his thing right here. Here's one right here, before and after. Here's where he's done Photoshop editing, where it's got his face on both. One of them's got a dumb arm to it, an average kind of arm, and the other one's really buff. It's like, here's another one right here. Just did photo editing. Both those arms are fake, by the way. This first arm's not his, and neither's this second one. His arm's not bad, though, but I don't... If that second arm is his, Now, And it's like, so what's real, what's not? I don't know, because everybody just gets to lie. But whenever you find stuff that's true, and so I know more about woodworking than I do with exercising, and so whenever I watch this stuff, it's like, oh yeah, that's right, this is right. And it's a little harder to lie about this stuff, because if you do something wrong with a build project, you're going to know it, and you're going to know it immediately. The stuff's not fitting together or whatever. With working out, it's like it takes you forever to get results. And it's like, if I were to go work out right now, it's like, I'm not going to know. I'm not going to show any kind of difference at all whatsoever. I go build a cutting board, which I could do in a day. It's like, I will know immediately of any and all mistakes that I've made. Well, I guess maybe not all of them. Some of them you wouldn't know, like if you were using some kind of a bad product to finish it. It's like you wouldn't know until maybe years. So I just don't know. I'll probably start off with this guy. But I did find, like, it is amazing what people post on here. And here is a guy. He posted for a year where he lost like 195 pounds. And he was watching Joe Rogan, and he saw this guy. This is Bert Kreschner. And what he is he's a comedian. He's got a really funny one where he talks about whenever he was younger in school, in college, and he goes over to Russia. And it's you can find it if you were to type in Brett and the Machine. It's hilarious. Well, Brett started to exercise and work out, and he lost some weight, and he's posting about how he's just completed his first half marathon or something like that. So it's like 12 miles or something like that. 23. And then here's this guy, Vance, and he's 475 pounds or something like that. 475 pounds. And he goes through it for a year, and it's like you can see a big change with his chin there. He's still going to have the loose skin there, but it's like, damn. And then this is Diamond Dallas Page. He was a wrestler with probably both WCW and the WWF, and he got inspired, and he's like, I'll help. And yeah, look at that before and after pictures. Holy crap. Good job, my man. Lost 198 pounds. It's like 200 pounds, dude. 200 pounds. I hope he's still doing it. I'll have this down in the description below, too. Vance is incredible. 365-day transformation will blow you away from DDP yoga. Oh, Diamond Dallas Page yoga. Okay. And it's just great whenever you see just normal people posting stuff. And that's what this is. This is just normal person. This isn't a politician. This is nobody anything. Some of these things are, some of this stuff is just kind of normal people here too, but this is just a guy who's just working out of his garage, out of his shop there, and he's just showing you what's going on. And I like seeing things like the oldest woman to do Iron Man, Madonna Budner, at 82. So the Iron Man, it's like a 3-mile swim. Here, we'll look at it. 118-mile bike ride. Uh-oh, it's giving me the movie here. Okay, 2.4-mile swim, 112-mile bike ride, and a marathon, which is a 26.2-mile run. All in one day, and it's limited to 16 hours, 17 hours. It's probably different if you're a man or a woman. And she did it. And that's inspirational, because I tell you what, if this old woman can do it, why can't I? Why can't any of us? This woman is amazing. I've known about her. I've looked. I knew this beforehand, which is why I knew to look in the first place. And it's like, yes, That is motivation for sure. But you have all of these people, and here's another guy, which if I can find information about him, I would like to see what he did. This one is 1 year weight loss transformation, working things out. I don't know if this is his channel specifically or not, but yeah. But he's a little more interesting because it's 100 pounds. He decided to go on another diet. He takes before and after pictures. He starts off at 247 pounds, and then he tracks it right here, and he does a weight loss of 100 pounds, and you can see how it gradually goes down. And I want you to take notice with this. It is not just a smooth curve. It's like it goes up. It plateaus. It goes down pretty hard at first, kind of plateaus a little bit, plateaus more, goes down, goes up, goes down, plateaus, starts to go down more, plateaus, goes down, sharp, kind of sharp down, and then goes back up, goes down, goes really hard up, goes down, goes up, and it's like this, down and up, down and up, down and up, down and up, and then here at the end, it really just plateaus hard for a long time. And it's just, whenever he gets to about right here, it's like he's fighting and struggling. He goes really up in it. He goes down. He goes back up hard right there. And it's just all over the place. And I've noticed that because I've lost over 50 pounds. And it's like that first bit, that wasn't too bad. Holy crap, right now, it's like, ugh. To get down to this, I don't know what his height is either, you know, because there's a difference between a guy who's 6'3" versus a guy who's 5'3". It's like, I don't know if I'm interested in getting down to 145 pounds because he started off at 245, and it's like that might be too much, but I don't know. He's got some kind of app on there. He gets down, man, at 9% body fat, and there he is, and he looks, he's got to be short. He's got to be short. Let me check something. Yeah, I think I'm taller than him. I went to go stand by the door handle and by the toilet because he's got a door handle right here in the toilet over here, and kind of about how high that is to him, and it's like I'm a little higher than that. So he's shorter than me, but not by much. And so he's really lost some weight, and you can see the flab right there, the loose skin. But I tell you what, it's like I'll take that any day of the week over being overweight. And then here's a guy where he has taken a 3D printer and he has printed something out like this. This is kind of the failed little thing. It was going fine until it was just too smooth. I didn't use any glue right here. And what you do is you use the 3D printer, you print something out, then you cast a mold around it, and then you pour in the metal, and then you put it in this thing to harden it all up, something like that. And this is a kiln for pottery. Bought it used, did some modifications to it, and he's posted it here online for you. So if you want to, you can do this stuff yourself. So here he is. He's melted it all down, and he's making gears out of brass or bronze, or I forgot what he said. He was brass. Printer costs $100. Electric kiln with controller $200. Basic foundry furnace, wow, just $100. A crucible. Total investment $500. It's like, yeah. And it is so fun working back there in the garage, just making stuff. Here's another one. How to make epoxy countertops. And you can rip yours out, or you can put it right over it. Now there is a little nuance though, and that is the countertop has to be flat. So if you've got one where it curves up and it's continuous, it won't work on that one. But it's here. And this is how to install epoxy over old countertops, ultimate guide, stone coat countertops, and that's the name of the channel. And so what this isn't their actual business. This is what they do, and they're showing you how to do it. You still have to pay for it, but it's like, I looked into it, and it was like around $300 if I was going to do my countertops, and that was going to be able to do the kitchen and the bathroom with a little bit left over. It's like, yeah, thank you very much. Instead of spending several $1,000s for new countertops, and that would be just for laminate. We're not talking granite or marble or anything like that. That would be even more. It's ridiculous. And just everybody being able to make money off of this stuff. And so this is a reaction video. This is a girl, her channel is whatever. I'll leave a description below. And she's watching right now a movie called Black Hawk Down. Was way too intense. I have that movie Black Hawk Down, and that's because I was in the Army, and I got in actually right before this all happened. This happened, and then I joined, and it's like months away. And I could have easily have ended up being over there, but I missed out on that, but I did go to Bosnia. And here's just some girl where she's just watching the movie, and you know what she has to do? She cannot show the movie. She can show little snippets from it. She's got to be careful with it. She can't do any songs, and she's just dancing around all this stuff on how to deal with this. There was a time whenever YouTube first started up where it didn't matter at all, whatever you wanted to, and holy crap, it was so much fun. You could find all kinds of fun and crazy things, and I tell you what, people were just so creative with this stuff. And now they've got all these insane policies and rules and guidelines. Like one of them is they will ban you or kick you off based off of what you do on things off of YouTube. And this is something that's going on right now with Discord. So this fella here, and I've shown him before, his YouTube channel is called Young Rippa 59. I think I'm saying that right. And the title of the video is, looks like it's time for a Discord alternative. And I'm going to show just this little bit of the video where he kind of highlights one of the really big problems that they've changed here. There are several things like, you can see right there, they have hate speech. And it's like, what the hell's hate speech? Who are you to decide what hate is? You know, depending on like your religion, what Christians view as hateful is different than Muslims, it's different than Jews, it's different than atheists, it's different than Buddhists, it's different than Hinduists. It's like, who are you to tell who what hate's supposed to be? It's like, you don't know. You have no qualifications at all whatsoever as to do that. Whatsoever. That is absolutely subjective. Each subject, each person, they can have wildly different views as to what hate speech is. It's like, no, you are nothing. But anyways, let's listen to it.
Hate speech policy. And this is the other one, right here. We will now consider relevant off-platform behaviors when making policy and enforcement assessments. This includes membership or association with a hate group, illegal activities, and hateful, violent, sexual, or other types of violent acts. Now, some of those aren't like the previous. Like, you know, violent, sexual, and violent acts is one thing. But includes membership or association with a hate group. It's just a fucking fluffy way to say, if you associate with the people that we don't like, we're going to do something about it.
That is exactly it. That is exactly it, 100%. If you are with someone who we don't like, we are going to just use our fluff, vague terms, because they aren't defining what hate speech is at all. They're not even making the attempt. And it's because if they were to do that, it would make no damn sense whatsoever. And that's why they have to keep it vague. And so then this way, it gives them a way out. This really does show, though, as to why there are just so many laws and rules and policies out there that they just don't matter. You can get around them. There's ways to get around with everything. It's like if there's some kind of like ethnic group that you don't like, that you don't want to work with in your business or whatever, it's like there's like millions of characteristics that describe those groups, no matter what they are, that you can then use to discriminate against them from. If you can't figure it out, then I tell you, it's only because it's a lack of effort. It's just nonsense. The way that you deal with this, and here we go, is that you need a system that's based off of the truth, off of facts and evidence. You can still have opinions and all that stuff, but it just needs to be clear that those are just opinions or your feelings or whatever. There's a place for all that. But whenever a lie is being dealt with, it needs to be exposed. Especially with politicians and big business and all this. I'm just so fed up and tired with it, and like with this too. Whenever you see or hear something like this that you don't like, each one of these things is an opportunity to do something new. Take the lemons and make it into lemonade. No matter what it is, no matter how big, how small, in your personal life, your professional life, whatever, you need to see things as opportunities. And then the world becomes really positive because it's like, oh, well, I can do this and this and this and that. And because whenever people aren't regulating things and you give them freedom, just like we've been watching, I've been going over this stuff. People come up with all kinds of creative ways to be able to entertain, to monetize things, to make a living. Here is a guy. This is titled Winter Solo Overnight Under Uprooted Tree, making snowshoes and bow saw Taiga Bonfire. I don't know what that is. The name of the channel is Asjoran Olsenberg Bushcraft. So I'm going to say this guy's European, I guess, by that kind of a name. He has 541,000 subscribers doing this. You know why? Because nobody's saying, oh, that's too dangerous. You can't do that. You're going to get yourself hurt. Where's his mask, too? He could be spreading COVID to the animals, or he's destroying nature and the climate change thing or whatever. It's like, you know what? Whenever somebody does this, you know what they're doing? They are keeping millions of people from going out and doing this themselves because they get the satisfaction of just watching one person do it. And this is helping people that if they do decide to go out and do it, they're going to have a much clearer picture as to what it is that they need to do, so then they don't end up getting themselves in a bad situation where they do get hurt or lost or even killed by some means. It's like it's letting them know, hey, here's like the big things that you need to take with you. This is what you need to know about the area. You need to know about where water sources are, campfires, whatever it is that they're doing. It's like, and people have been doing this, forever doing this stuff, but now he's able to take a camera on out and he's got YouTube to be able to do this all. But, YouTube can change their mind and say, no, we're not going to allow this stuff anymore. And then what is he supposed to do? It's like, well, he's going to have to change and adapt, and that's what people do. But it's like, it's BS just because some random person somewhere or a group of people decide that they just don't like it some more. They could literally say that this is hate speech because this is going against the climate, and that this is not good for the environment. This one guy out here who's done absolutely nothing besides take stuff that was already on the ground and brought in one backpack worth of stuff that he's going to take with him. So this is going to destroy the climate, and people like this need to be stopped. Stop doing what? Piling up twigs? What are you kidding me, man? But you know what? There's someone out there who would say it, because people don't know what they're talking about, and they like to virtue signal about a bunch of nonsense. Here's another great one. This is a guy who, before the internet came along and YouTube and all this, he goes around making videos restoring old game systems. And this one is titled, "I Restored This Yellow and Broken SNES Retro Console or Restoration." And it's like, played on that back in the day. Not too much. I didn't have that one because I'm older. I had the older stuff. So. And it's called the channel Odd Tinkering. It's the end of the video. This is what it looked like whenever he first got it. I don't know why he wears these gloves all the time, but... And then, whenever it's all finished, it looks like this. Holy crap, man. That is what the damn thing looks like. I mean, if I didn't know any better, I would say this is almost brand new. But he tears and guts the thing apart. He tries it out, doesn't work. Takes off the casing. It's dirty and nasty inside. He's had several where he's opened them up and there's bugs inside. He washes it. He puts it in a solution with UV lighting to get rid of the discoloration. He removes the rust. He's done some nickel plating on a few components. He does some soldering. He uses rubbing alcohol. And it's so much fun to watch him do this. And you know who does this? It's like all the items get done. Old electronics, old metal toys. I mean, like old, like things that my parents or my grandparents might have even had. You know, if it's out there, somebody's restoring that thing. Old junker cars, planes, boats, you name it, it's all out there. The big problem, though, is that you have to watch a ton of them to figure out what it is that they're doing. So if you wanted to do it yourself, it's pretty hard. And that is one thing that I would absolutely love, is having all of this information so that everybody can use it. So then that way they can find their passion without any kind of restrictions to do whatever it is that they want to be able to make a living. You know, I mean, within reason. I mean, obviously not things like rape, murder, or theft or something like that. But, you know, other than that, it's like, this stuff is awesome. I love watching all this stuff. I love learning all this stuff. But the government steps on in and they just screw everything up. Here's a great example. Because who would think this? Something just as small and minute as this. Because we hear big things all the time on how the government screws that up. Like Biden right now with the economy. And over there in Ukraine, it's like it's all a bunch of trash. But let's listen to this. This is video is titled 1421. That might be his 1,421st video, maybe. U.S. government says you must use this locks. CompX Mailbox lock, and this is from the Lock Picking Lawyer is the name of his channel. He has 3.8 million subscribers. He's got almost 2 million views on this one channel, right, or this one video right here, and he just did this a few days ago. But listen to this.
This is the Lock Picking Lawyer, and one of the main goals of this channel is to help consumers make better security decisions. But what happens when the government doesn't let you make a good decision? What happens when they tell you, this is the lock that you must use, and the lock isn't particularly impressive? Well, that's exactly what's been going on for the last 15 years if you live in an apartment building or housing complex that uses centralized mail receptacles. Each mailbox must be secured by a lock compliant with regulation USPS-L-1172C.
You know why? For no reason whatsoever. It's because a couple of things happened. Because somebody turned it around into some kind of virtue signaling thing. And this was just a way for the politicians to be able to make some kind of business, a whole lot of money, because this is the only company that makes these, and he says it in the video.
CompX, the manufacturer of this lock, is, I believe, the only authorized manufacturer. And if you don't have one of these, the mail carrier isn't allowed to deliver your mail.
Isn't that ridiculous? Isn't that absolutely ridiculous? You know what you would have to do, that if you really had a concern for your mail being stolen or whatever, you would have to put this on and then a second lock to it as well. Because there's always loopholes. There's always loopholes. You cannot accommodate for all the loopholes. It might be something just as simple as putting a latch with like a padlock on it. Or you might have to drill out a second hole where then you have 2 keys for 2 locks. And you probably just disable this one and just have this one permanently open. Because there's always something stupid where you can get around it. It's just, again, just being creative with stuff. That's the answer to a lot of these things. And it's like, it's stupid. You shouldn't have to jump through these dumb hoops for these stupid things. But this is only a 2-minute video. We are going to play the whole thing on this one. And it's because it's short and it's just ridiculous.
So, just how good is the lock that you're required to use?
He's going to pick it.
I'm going to mount this up in a vise and give it a try.
The video is already halfway over, and he's going to pick it. He's going to do it in a matter of seconds.
I'm going to use a 40,000 stick turner and a wave rake. These are both part of the Genesis set that I sell over on covertinstruments.com.
A couple of pieces of metal. Oh, so how long? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi.
Okay, after just a few
5 to 10
seconds of raking,
seconds.
we got it open. So, as you saw, it did not take long for us to get in with this low-skill attack. And while this may be adequate for some locations, it certainly is not for others. And it's a real problem that the government doesn't permit you to use a better option.
It's like, yeah, who the hell cares? It's like, it's your mailbox. This is not the key from the back end where they get in, because usually what he's talking about is those really big units that you go up to and you've got everybody's right there. The mailman goes around to the back. Sometimes they're inside of a building and you have to go through a door. Sometimes it's exposed and there's just one right there and you just open up the whole thing and they just put the mail on it. You know, it depends, but you know, if you have to go through a door, like if you're in an apartment complex, I've been at apartment complexes, I've lived at my fair share. It's like you have to go into the office in a lot of these things. You have to go inside the building, go through the office, go through a few doors to be able to get back there. And so they don't deal with this lock at all, because this is the lock that you use. This is your key, your lock. You put your key in your lock to open up your box to get your mail. It's like, why? It has absolutely nothing to do with the mail carrier at all. So if you're running like a business, or if you've got a lot of money or really valuable things coming and going, and it's like, yes, I want to have a beefier lock on this. You can't do it. Ridiculous. And oh man, all this stuff with Putin and invading the Ukraine, and I tell you what, with Tim, let me see if I can find it real quick. So this is just, I like it whenever Tim sticks to the news and news outlets and all that stuff, but whenever he gets into some of this conspiracy theory stuff and war and what's going to happen, it's just, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And it's like, I don't expect him to. He's not in the military. He's not like a general or something like that. But still, just a Google search was a lot of this stuff. So this video is titled, Insane Poll Shows Democrats Think Defending Ukraine Border More Important Than Our Own. This is from Timcast. I'm going to play a little segment. I'll have this down in the description below, too, for anyone who wants to watch this video. But he does this little bit right here where it's like, yes, it's like, let's listen.
Now,
there's some really interesting stories emerging. The New York Post is a story where they claim that Donald Trump, talking to Vladimir Putin, said he would bomb Moscow. And Putin was like, no way. And Trump was like, yep. And apparently he said the same thing to Xi Jinping. And I believe it. You can't spend 5 or 6 years telling me that Donald Trump is a fascist authoritarian dictator. And then when a story comes out that Trump threatened to bomb the capitals of Russia and China if they dare go after Ukraine or Taiwan, say, that didn't happen. Donald Trump was passive and submissive and a puppet of Russia.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if he did that, because that's exactly what he did to North Korea all the time. And it's because that guy just would not shut up. I forget what his name is. He's the grandson of that dictatorship. His grandfather and his dad have both died, and so it's just him now. Trump threatens to totally destroy North Korea. Donald Trump threatens to totally destroy North Korea. This is in 2017. Trump, and this is from The Guardian, this is from NBC News, this is from Yahoo. I mean, he just did it constantly. There's memes of him just constantly threatening him. Let's see if we can pull up a meme. He made a statement like, he said, "I've got a nuclear missile, and I've got my button, my finger on the button, or something like that." And Trump said, "I've got a bigger button," or something along those lines. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un just stated that the nuclear button is on his desk at all times. Will someone from his depleted and food-starving regime please inform him that I have a nuclear button, but it is much bigger and more powerful than his, and my button works? That was his tweet. That was it. That's what Donald Trump tweeted back to Kim Jong-un over there. It's like, yeah, mine's bigger, it's better, and it works. So, yeah, whenever I watch this and they're talking about, did Trump threaten China and Russia about bombing them? It's like, yes. And you want to know why? Because right here, Russian missiles can reach the U.S. in minutes. According to the New START treaty between U.S. and Russia, the ballistic missile can reach the U.S. in approximately 30 minutes. But there's a treaty, and it extends until February 4th of 2006. While not all missiles have a target range as far as 5,000 odd miles, which it's about 5,500 miles between the U.S. and Russia. The New York Post reports Russia has multiple models of the Yars missile, which can carry multiple warheads and travel more than 6,500 miles. And so the distance between the U.S. and Russia by air is about 9,000 kilometers, which is equivalent to about 5,500 miles approximately. You don't have to put nukes on these things. There's plenty of... You can load those missiles up with whatever you wanted to. It could be pieces of paper that's just propaganda, and they explode and they flutter down. People read all that stuff about, could say something like, don't push us, don't test us, look at what we can do. We have missiles that can reach you, and we don't want to do this, to make them all think twice. And they could do it in reverse, it could go both ways. But this is just another example as to why there will never be a World War III. Because you no longer have to go invade with troops anywhere else. This is part of the reason why it doesn't matter if you have women in the armed forces anymore, because technology has made all that obsolete. It's like Russia doesn't have a lot of missiles that can do this. We do. Let me fill you in on something. We don't have just one. We have hundreds of them. And these are the ones that, they're only talking about the ones that can travel far enough from the U.S. to Russia. This doesn't include the ones that are in allied countries, at bases in allied countries to the U.S. and allied countries to Russia. They're not talking about the nuclear submarines that can sneak up, get close enough, and be able to unload a payload of missiles from these submarines. Doesn't include all of those. There's plenty. That's why it will never happen, because if World War III happened, right before the losing country loses, they're going to launch everything. And there's going to be plenty of stuff, even if it's not nuclear, even if they still decide we won't do the nuclear option, there's still plenty of other missiles that they can fire with all different kinds of payload that are not nuclear and just destroy the crap out of everything. And just, you could still make either country a complete wasteland with all the destruction and chaos that ensued. There will never be a World War III at all. At least not with these really big countries. Because another thing to consider is, like, not only do we have more than one missile, we're not targeting every country in the world. Nobody gives a damn about third world nations. There's a ton of them, even with first world nations like Sweden and Finland. They don't have anything. They have nothing. You know, I showed that list of the aircraft carriers. They don't have jack. Just nothing. It's why the U.S. is over there involved in this. It's why we have NATO, because these little countries can't do it on their own. They need America. So, yeah. I am going to be getting into this. I'm going to work and live and breathe by a schedule, by a notebook, where I'm going to write crap down, because I tell you what, to make a change, to really make a change, you really need to pound this stuff into your head every single day. So I've done this a little bit, but right here I've written down, be the best. Then I have some of my own personal things. It's like, did you forget who I am? Wake up, get your mind right. Some of my goals with family and how I'm getting older, and that I want to build something great. And it's like, people who really get noticed are people who really kind of, it's like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go all out, nobody's going to tell me otherwise. And I really recognize this whenever my friend came up to see me a few months ago, that I've known for over 4 decades, and he had just pimped out his truck, and it was like, it's because he didn't take anything from anybody. And it's like, everyone wants to see the big grand stuff, even if it's something like weight loss. Look at this. He's got 94 million views on this. He got 2.8 million upvotes on this video, because this guy, he documented a year of losing 200 pounds. You know what people aren't really interested in? Me. If I lose weight and slim up and get like a 6-pack going on, it's not gonna do this at all. I just saw this. So I like watching people reacting to movies, especially the old ones, because I don't think of a lot of these as being old, because I was alive whenever they came out. This is one of them. This is it's the movie Troy. The title of the video is Troy 2004 Part 1 Movie Reaction, First Time Reaction, and the channel is Just Trust Ash. And so I guess his name is Ash, and he's got his little sister with him. I've seen a few of his videos. I guess they're Persians, because they watched 300, and the title of the video was Persians Watching a Persian Movie or something like that. But he picked up on something pretty good right here, that it stuck with me. And so let's see what happens in this scene, and then his comment that he says afterwards.
Careful who you sell to, kid.
And so what's going on is that these two armies have met on the field of battle, and the two kings have said, you know what, instead of all of our soldiers dying and going into this big conflict, I'll bring my best warrior, you bring your best warrior, and whoever wins it all, and we'll skip all the rest.
Imagine seeing him when you have to go to war.
A Thessalonian you're fighting. He's the biggest man I've ever seen. I wouldn't want to fight him.
That's why no one will remember your name.
Yikes.
That kid is like, yeah, well, you're my hero. Yeah, well, you're my hero. Don't say that to me.
That's probably what it's like when you meet your like celebrity like hero for the first time, and they just shut you down.
Perhaps you should have a war tomorrow, wouldn't you?
Well, there's another part in the video. I thought he said it right there, but he talks about how nobody's going to remember you, or better yet, they're not going to respect you or think much of you if you don't do anything with your life. You have to take the big challenges and the big risks. And I don't mean going to war and putting your life on the line. It can be something such as building up your truck, your car, whatever it is. Or it could be weight loss. It could be going out into the wilderness. It could be restoring. It's like this one, where he restored. All he did was restore this old video game system. 879,000 views. But you know what? He knows exactly what he's doing. He does this repeatedly. They all work. He's titles, a lot of them, bought this console for $1 or $2, doesn't work. He knows what parts he knows. He knows how to test all of it. He cleans it. He looks at the circuit board. He cleans it all up. He'll do nickel plating. He'll solder it. He's added some chips sometimes, and then he's testing it where he's got the positive and the negative, and he gets a little beep from it to make sure that everything's working right. He knows how to clean, just do it all. And because he's extremely good at what he does, it's like, well, of all the videos to watch, I don't want to watch the idiot who does half of it, where it's just boring. He just says a bunch of nonsense. This guy doesn't do it. He doesn't even say one word. I wish he would talk, though, instead of having the text, because you can see it right here. It says, I'm using rubbing alcohol to clean everything. Whenever I watch a video, I don't want to read. If I want to read, I'll go read a book. Whenever I want to watch a video, it's because I like to watch videos and to do something else. Like I'll be in another room doing something else, and I'll still listen, and maybe I'll walk by and catch a glance, or maybe there was something that I heard that was really interesting, and I'll come back and rewind it a little bit and then watch it. So since nobody seems to want to do this, and have all this great information so that we can all do these amazing things, and they want to cut people out of it. It's like, who are you to tell me that I shouldn't be doing any of this stuff, or you? It's like, no, we should all be able to do this stuff. Why shouldn't we all be allowed to have wonderful lives on whatever terms that we see fit? Whatever it is that you're passionate about, wouldn't it be amazing if you could just go hog wild with it, just dominate at it, and people would be like, this is awesome. Because you know how many things there are that are out there? It's like it's unlimited. It's like just with building tables. You know, it's like, well, what size do you want it? It's like they come in all different sizes. It's unlimited. Do you want it to be out of wood, metal, glass, epoxy, resin? Do you want 3D parts to it? Do you want to use Bond? It's like, how many materials? Just of materials, how many can you choose from? Would you like to use a tile or vinyl or cement, laminate, granite, marble, perhaps some kind of fabric? How many kinds of different fabric do you want? Cotton, wool, silk, nylon, microfiber. Do you want it to be brand new? Do you want it to be fixing some kind of junk? Do you want to be able to go through the entire process where you cut down the tree all the way to the finished product? What kind of stains and paints? And it's like, we're just talking about tables, and look at me going nuts on just that one thing. And I'm telling you, I haven't even scratched the surface on that. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. It's just incredibly mind-boggling, insane, which is why I know I can't do this on my own, and I need people like you. And so for right now, all I need you to do is just real simple. Just hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and become a member, and share it. Help get the message out. That's all we need to do for right now. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later. Have a good one. Bye.